Welcome back, dear listeners, to another riveting episode of Don't S.W.E.A.T It, the podcast. I am your host, Mr. Bloody Gizler, and as always, I'm joined by the incredible Russell. As you know, this podcast is centralised around a topic that hits close to home for both of us, sobriety and men's mental health.
Let's face it, men often find it tough to open up about their struggles, especially when it involves grappling with mental health and substance abuse. But right here, in the heart of our podcast, we're creating a sanctuary where these crucial conversations can flourish and thrive.
We ain't just talking the talk, we're walking the walk by baring our souls and tapping into expert insights. We're on a mission to shatter the walls of stigma surrounding men's mental health and addiction.
So whether you're on your own journey to sobriety, supporting a loved one, or simply curious about the complexities of the human mind, you've stumbled upon the perfect oasis of understanding and camaraderie.
Pour yourself a cup of your favourite brew, get cosy and prepare to be transported on an odyssey of discovery and self-awareness.
And always remember, in this wild journey called life, you're never alone. We're here, arm in arm, ready to traverse the highs and lows together.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get our sweat on.
Right, today, we're not just going to scratch the surface. We're going to dive headfirst into the world of the unconscious mind. We're going to bleed into the topics that we mentioned above. And we're joined by a very special guest, Mr. Robert Hisee, the
Hello,
UK's
chaps. Thanks for having me.
#1 unconscious mind therapist. And I love saying that because of it's just got such a presence about it. But yeah, Rob, thank you so much for being here, mate. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a real pleasure. I believe in what you boys are doing, and it's a great thing.
Thank you, mate.
I'm
Thank
honoured.
you.
Well, welcome to the pod. As I said, this is our first time doing one, and we've got fucking Robert Hisee as a guest. So if it's a bit rough, I apologise.
It's all a learning curve, mate.
It is all a learning
curve. It's all a learning curve.
Right, I'm going to ask you start off with this. We're all from South London. I think that's why we all get on very well. What was it like growing up around? You're from Bermondsey,
Yeah,
didn't you?
Bermondsey, mate.
So
yeah.
what was it like growing up around the manor? I bet you got yourself in some scrapes, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. You know, I suppose like most places in South London, but you know, when people say they're from working class, there's different types of working class. You boys might get this, you know, like there's some working class areas that I think are middle class. When I was growing up, I'd have loved to live there, you know what I mean? So like I was in a real bad estate called the Bonamy Estate.
Yeah.
There's a new Bonamy there now, but it's different. But yeah, it was a bad, very bad looking estate. If you look at, I've never seen the film Nil by Math.
Yeah,
it was in there, yeah. So I was brought up on there, but you know, there's bad and good in everything, isn't there? The good thing is the community was good on there, so we looked out for each other. But the bad side, like everywhere, it was full of drugs, crime, and all you wanted to be was a fucking gangster because you looked at your mum and dad was skint, if you had a fucking mum and dad that were together on the estate even, and the only ones that done well was the drug dealers and armed robbers, wasn't it?
And then the motors pulling up.
Yeah, it was like Nick. I learned to drive in all the Nick motors. So I was in the 80s. That was when I was, you know, young in the 80s. You know, like a kid still. But I mean, I used to early 90s as well. So I remember, like, you know, holding my mum's hand going to school, for instance. Must have been 6, 7. And as I come down the block through the stairs, they'd be sick and heroin needles. Now, this is when HIV was fucking rife, yeah? So this is when you see people skinny with HIV because they went straight into AIDS and died quick. It was like, it weren't like it is now.
It was a quick thing, wasn't it?
Then they were on
a lot of
treatment. They can live forever and they're like ripped up and fucking, they look like they're fucking...
Good shape, and
they're like they're in good shape. They look healthier
it.
than people that ain't on fucking the growth hormone.
It's like a compliment, like you say.
So when I was young, if you were skinny, they used to go, you got AIDS. It was like an insult in the primary school and stuff.
Now it's like a compliment.
Yeah. But so when we was so growing up, so as I come down the stairs, be needles everywhere. So Mum used the idea of talking about the ages. Mum used to go, "What's them needles? You get AIDS," and you'd be petrified because everyone was dying. Every time you looked at the news, there was another celebrity dead, or you know, AIDS was rife and it was going up and down. And people were getting it. Be careful. People were getting scared to drink out the same cup at school and all that silly stuff.
Because there was a lot of
you can't catch it from saliva. Yeah, it was new. It was brand new.
And it was actually Princess Diana that kind of broke that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
She was going out there with all the young kids and that, and like
correct. Yeah, I remember that.
And I think like just that, like that changed the conception of it. But
it was scary. People didn't know, and it's just like how COVID was. People just went over the top fearful. But don't get me wrong, you didn't want to fucking touch a needle and get AIDS. You know, don't get me wrong, but. So I'd be coming down the stairs holding my mum's hand, there'd be needles on the floor, sick. Mum used to go to me, that's where they tried drugs for the first time. And I used to be petrified.
Put it in your head from early.
Yeah. So, which was a good thing, because I would never try a skag on that, you know. I had a cousin that died of it, but that would have never been my thing. But I remember coming down the stairs and seeing things like that from a young age. So my babysitter, when I was a kid, I loved Teresa. She used to look like a lovely girl. And then one day I remember coming from primary school and she was all spotty and she looked horrible and mean. Like I could just sense something different. And then I remember Mum and Dad talking that she had died. They found her in a toilet in the West End and someone robbed the money as well. She's about 16 years old on heroin. Do you know what I mean?
They robbed her as well.
Yeah, she died and just took away money and fucked off.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? When you're dabbling with that sort of thing, all your fucking morals go out the window. There's nothing that...
So I think from the 80s in our generation is that where we was that younger group and we see it, the time we got old, any skagheads got fucked off the estate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They would have got beat up and told to fuck off. And they all cleared onto an estate called the Silwood. So that was like a skaghead estate. But everywhere else, you'd see them lurking about. But, you know, they sort of died. This heroin scene died. But in the 80s, it was fucking huge.
Right.
Yeah, it was really big.
Well, when you're touching...
That was like my early stages of first coming across drugs and that. I tried puff at 11 at school, secondary school.
I think everyone tried it young. I think the first time I got a stone was the estate round the corner from my house. I think I was about 12 and I grained out, mate. I remember walking to my uncle's house, right, because he was the only person I felt safe going to, and he turned up and he was like, "Fuck are you doing?" And I told him, he's like, "Right, go and have a little lay down, boy." Grained out, thrown up everywhere. He's like, "Right, don't worry about it. Do you want a kebab?" I was like, I'm fucking hungry now, yeah. And then he drove me home to my mum and dad. He said, "Don't worry, he won't say anything about it." And like, he was always my favourite uncle. He was my dad's youngest brother, but the closest to like that age. And he was about that. But I remember that, like smoking my first joint.
I think everyone went white.
Talking about whiteys, I remember. I think the first ever time I had a puff, I was the first one out of the group to pull a whitey. And no one knew what it was. Right? So they rang an ambulance, and I got picked up in an ambulance.
No way, with a puff of a joint.
I thought, do you remember that feeling that you got when it was all sort of like all the colour goes out your face?
It's horrible.
But obviously, when you're a kid, no one knew what it was because we was all new to it. No one had said, "Oh yeah, you might fucking be ill." So obviously, the fucking shout out Paul, he remembers this. He fucking rang the ambulance, and it was opposite my mother's house. So she said she would come out the house. I'm in an ambulance.
It was all puff back then as well, wasn't it? And occasionally you get hold of a bag of skunk and you was like, fucking hell.
Well, skunk weren't even out when you had gold seal and red seal was the strongest bit of hardgear you got, and the best bit of weed was tie stick.
Tie stick.
Yeah, that was the best you got.
Red and
it was almost like stringy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all tied with string around the thing, wasn't it? But then you'd graft to get that. But I remember when skunk number 1 come out, I was about 15 and someone was talking about it, this hybrid fucking, and we walked miles to go and get a bit of this skunk number 1. But I didn't realise, you know, like probably 3 or 4 years later, it started getting, everyone was on the skunk, and then
it's got a lot to answer
White Widow
for
was the best.
well.
I remember that winning the cannabis
Widow,
cup.
yeah.
I don't know if that's about still, but yeah.
That was the main one, White Widow, wasn't it, when that came out?
You just touched on something very important there, because it does have a lot to answer for, because of, I think, our parents' generation, like they had like the puff, and they had whatever they had was like, because even my dad said he used to smoke some cannabis, but I think it would have been like, compared to what we could get older.
Nothing.
And it was a mind-altering substance, like, by the end of it.
Well, what is skunk class has now? Class A or B?
It's Class B, I think.
Well, that was a D, wasn't it? A bit of ash, wasn't it? It was like well low down the scale.
You don't know what's in it now, though. Like, it's all been fucking manufactured.
I used to when I used to puff when I was young, I'd get stoned, listen to a bit of Pink Floyd or something, could be on a nice little mellow
Dark Side of the Moon, mate. What an album to listen to.
But then when you're on that skunk, I'd be lying there, I'd be thinking like about Harley Davidson's baked beans, someone's going to do this, and my brain just runs off and I can't stop it. I look at my heart's going like, I'm going to fucking die.
It's the panic attack,
it's horrible, mate.
And that's what made me, I mean, look, I was saying earlier, right, I have been a habitual weed smoker into my adult life because I always felt it never affected me. And the moment I had that epiphany, I need to stop.
I love what you just said. Sorry, go on, come on.
We'll touch back on it then. But I had that epiphany. I was sitting there watching TV and I can't remember what it was came on, but it just threw my brain, right? And I sat there and went, what the fuck are we? What are we doing here? What is life? Everything. And my heart was going like that. And I got up and I'm pacing around the room and I had to stop because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But then I couldn't get it out of my head of,
what the fuck are we, people? What is like? And it was that thought, and I went, that's the fucking weed getting in your head now,
Yeah,
mate. It said, now, if you don't do this, you're going to end up as a schizophrenic or something, because that thought will never leave you now, because I've already had it, and I'll remember that. I'll go back to that. But I had to stop myself and going, you are what you are, it is what it is, everything else. But the next day I woke up and I went, I ain't smoking that no more. That's me, because of I don't want to be in that frame of mind. That petrified me being in that frame of mind, and I was worried I weren't ever going to come out of that. And that was just off. And I was a seasoned smoker, day in day out, day in day out.
Do you know what you said a minute ago is that people say that's only a bit of puff, don't hurt you, cures cancer, you all this bollocks, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got its pros and cons. If you use it correctly. Like magic mushrooms, your microdose is really good for your brain. You eat 5 or 6 fucking grams, you're hanging off a fucking lamppost thinking you're
you're meeting tribal warriors in the skirting ball.
Yeah. First time I ever did magic mushrooms, right? We stuck them in a fucking sandwich with some bacon and we just eating them, right? And I was like 17 and didn't know what the fuck we was doing. I have no idea how much we took. But then as I got a bit older and realised like you can microdose, to be fair, I haven't done it, but I've heard amazing things about microdose and that and LSD, like. Again, they get such a bad reputation, but if you do it in a small
microdose,
amount,
it's really good for the brain. I mean, the studies have shown there's no better drug for the brain than that. But much better than antidepressants and everything. But as I say, when we was going back to cannabis then, don't hurt ya, we see that 40% of psychosis in the Western world is through cannabis. 40%. That is huge.
Yeah.
40% of is caused through cannabis. Now, you do get some people it don't affect, because it does affect people differently as well. So, some people, like my mate, I mean, he's got ADHD. He don't think he has, but he's fucking off the scale. He can puff a joint, it's like he ain't even touched nothing. You know what I mean? He's like, he's still chatty. I think, mate, if I smoked half that joint, I'd be on the bed fucking...
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
over.
Yeah, I just won't want to talk to no
to
one. Because it is, naturally, it's the most unsociable drug out there.
No, it is, 100%.
Most people don't come out of their bedrooms. They're on the PlayStation eating pizza, talking about what they're going to do one day if they, and that's it. They just, it cripples you.
It's not made... It's not a party drug, is it?
No.
I don't like.
It's not social.
I don't mind it. I've been in music. I liked it around music, but not this
again,
skunk. I'm on about a
but
little
again,
bit of
that's you and with the music. Like it's not like I've done it. I remember years ago we was queuing up for a rave, and like you got the drink in you haven't, and then somebody passed me a fucking banger.
Yeah,
I've had a whop at it. And I just remember feeling like that small in the middle of the rave. Like I just felt
it's horrible, anxious.
It was a horrible. It's not my. I don't think it's made for that personally. No. It's not made for that. It's not a party drug.
Well, I don't like it anymore. But I mean, and I think it's one of them things as well. Same with alcohol. Alcohol with consistent use, like, can really affect your mental state
massively.
That, and I always used to be an advocate and go, fucking,
But also to pick up on that is that. The reason why people drink a lot is because they haven't got a good mental state, but they don't. The problem is they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Because when people talk about mental health, they talk about what you're thinking and external stuff, what you look like, the things you're capable of doing. Nah, that isn't where you regulate your emotions. It's inside. The work's done inside, and people don't get that. You go, no, you're so strong. You can do this. You can do that. That's got nothing to do. You can see the most powerful person in the world looks good on the outside, running businesses. Blah blah blah. But inside, the internal world's a mess.
Yeah.
So they need to go and fucking, I don't know, with addiction, with any type of addiction, might be alcohol, sex, fucking gambling, whatever. Drugs.
I spent years.
Well.
I spent years and years and years of my life masking all these problems that I didn't know that I had. When I first got into the music, obviously, I treated it like a fucking playground. Like there was girls, there was fucking drugs. Do you know what I mean? I was doing stages, and it was I've been battering it for years, but I really, really abused it then. And it's only last couple of years where I've been on this journey of sobriety that I didn't realise how many problems I actually had. I didn't realise I was socially awkward. I didn't realise I was crippled with self-doubt. All these things that I didn't know that I had that I've been masking for years with alcohol and coke and whatever. And it's only now that I'm really sort of working on myself now, like after all these years. And it's took me, I'm 36, mate. So I'm not being funny. When we grew up, Russ, and the people that we grew up round, and the things that we saw that we can't obviously expose too much on the camera, I'm really, really, really surprised we ended up the way we are now, considering...
functioning members of society. That's what I said. It was like, who would have thought some boys had this in the tank?
Mental.
But it is you're not necessarily a product to your environment, mate. Not everyone is a product to their environment. You know, I think well, what you said was pretty important. There is you masked a lot of it, but you probably weren't even aware you had the
No, I didn't know. I just thought that was the norm.
But but subconsciously you probably were aware of these problems, and that is your shield: the alcohol, the booze, the drugs, and that. Because of when you're walking into this rave. And you're on stage and all eyes are on you, you're feeling smaller than you should.
Do you know what the mad thing is? You could dump me now into a rave, right, around everyone at their face on ket and pills and whatever, and drink whatever they're doing, and I don't feel the urge to drink or do anything. But then if you put me in another social situation where, like, I don't know, like a fucking, like my girlfriend will take me to a party, one of her friends' party, that's when I feel that anxiety because I'm not used to the...
But you said you've got ADHD as well.
Yeah.
Well, I've got it, and that is the thing, because what happens is we get sensory overload. And what...
Yeah.
So I stopped drinking...
Think about 20 things at once.
I drink again now, so but I plan to drink now. So I don't have a drink. If I think my next Saturday Sun's coming on, I'll make sure I plan to drink, and so I know I'm not going to after. I don't just drink out of emotion like I used to anymore. So it's took me a long while to do that, but that's how I've got my life going now. So I have a drink here and there. But what did you say? My ADHD. Oh, ADHD. So what I learned is so I have like 8 months off now and again. I had 8 months off like last year. And I just do it just because I like to go, you know, just to keep myself in a good mind state for certain things. And I was drinking a bit too much for a while. I'm coming off it. So I come off for 8 months. And what I learned is that really opened my eyes is the sensory overload. If you haven't got ADHD, you're still going to get it. So it ain't just because you've got ADHD. So I'd go out. I was in Portugal. And I went out and I had everyone was drinking, so I wasn't drinking. I just had like a big tall glass with tonic water, but in a gin glass. So it looked like people didn't drive me fucking mad. Like, people was like, you feel like if you're not drinking, they look at like, oh,
yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you're wrong. You're okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And it makes them feel good. Oh, I ain't going to drink then. I go, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
You're not
it's a
gonna drink?
mirror. It's a mirror.
Yeah.
You're
What do you mean I'm not
going
to drink? Oh, you're not drinking. I don't want to drink. Then I'm going to have a drink. I said, if I want a bit of afters and a cake and you don't want, I'm fucking having the cake, mate. So drink your fucking drink. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the difference?
Yeah. But then you fill upwards. So I just get a big gin glass, have a thing in it and a bit of lime, and the people would just stop driving mad. It makes them feel more comfortable. So anyways, I had a quite good day. I'm up on the guitar still, dancing, had real fun. But 4 hours in, my head's banging, right? So I come outside, got on the phone, talking to my girlfriend at the time, and my head was fucking banging. So I went down to Villamore. I was texting mates, and I said, look, meet us up after. So anyway, later on at Christmas, another time I went out Christmas Day. I was out dancing still, but having a laugh. Headache, like going down the sofa, right? So my mate's massive, works in rehab, Tanner, yeah? You should get one of these, good guy. So I went to, met Tanner, had a chat with Tanner. I was going, mate, since I've stopped boozing, I started getting these headaches. He went, yeah. He went, you're gonna. I said, why is that? When it's known in the rehabs,
I know what
because
this is.
sensory overload. So when you're in a bar, because alcohol relaxes your brain, yeah? So it's a muscle relaxant. So your brain stops working. So you stop noticing the guy just walked in with a green hat on and the girl walked in with a thing, all the lights, the music's going on. You don't notice every single bit of music. You don't know who's standing around. You don't there's so much activity going on that your brain takes into, because it's not normal anyway to be like that. You're not, it's the three of us sitting here in a room. There ain't like fucking 200 people, everything going mad.
Everyone chatting at once.
Yeah, and so what happens is you get sensory overload and your brain gets working your muscle too quick, you're going to get dead arm. And it starts to give you a headache, yeah? So I thought that was a big eye-opener for me, because I noticed it was like literally, I could put a clock on, like a stop clock, 4 hours, bang, the headache could come.
Yeah, it comes
and
in.
he said it's known. So like what I would do is, when I clocked out, I'd go out with my pals, and when we were out in the bar, having something to eat, whatever, I'd just go outside for 10 minutes, just have a little chill.
Give a break, just get a break.
Just to get away from everyone,
reset a little
use
bit.
my phone, look at my 10, 15 minutes and go back in again, just to like recharge myself. But
there's that mask again, isn't it? What we're talking about, you're masking something that you wouldn't notice before.
Also with ADHD, this is the other side. When I go out, if I go into a bar and there's people sitting in, like we're sitting in there trying to talk, and there is the people in the blue dress and the green hat, and sometimes I can't really focus. Like that's the sensory overload. Don't just sensory overload me. I can't listen to what someone says. I feel like anxiety.
Yeah,
makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm all like this. I get
yeah.
bad. Like it's like
and
I feel like you think it's socially awkward, but it is, but it's not because you ain't confident, or you can't have a conversation, because you just can't relax in that environment. So if I have a couple of drinks, like 1 pint or 1 quick glass of wine, boom, I'm cool. I don't even, it's that mad. So I can see why a lot of, they say like people with ADHD are massive in addiction. I get it. Because it's very hard to function in a high frequency place when you're high frequency all the time and you can't stop noticing everything. Like, I don't give a shit about the conversation that's going on now. I'm trying to talk to my mate.
Yeah.
I can hear him talking and I can't change my focus to your conversation. And I'm going, I can't know what he's fucking saying.
About the fact that you're doing that, and then you're not even listening to what they're saying.
You're not listening to your mate, and then you're trying to listen to your mate and jump back on the conversation. But it's horrible. So we have a drink. It's easy. So, but then I've started to realise I don't even like fucking pubs. Like, without a drink, we're not going to a pub.
Yeah, because
no one's your mate.
I had this
no one's your mate, are they? You
No.
have your pub mates. You go in a pub, you meet them. You don't know where no cunt lives. You don't know for the kids' christening. You just know you end up meeting people in a pub and
We're all in there for the same reason.
Yeah, you talk bollocks about everything, but without a booze, you wouldn't even talk to them. You've got nothing in common at all. Yeah.
No, you're spot on the money there. Bang on. So, what I'd like to know, Rob, because you have got a massively insightful mind. Right, you're highly intelligent. I've followed you for a long time, and I've always bought into what you do. If this whole podcast is generated around mental health, but partners up with addiction and sobriety, and these people that are suffering with their own mental health, you do a lot of teachings about the RAS system,
reticular activating system.
Yeah. Now that, alongside creating neuro pathways, is the way in which you get people to change their mindset and the way of thinking. How would you, for the listeners at home, because I'm really interested in this as well, how would you, as the unconscious mind therapist, UK's number one, get these people, right, to breathe? You say everything starts with a thought, right? Everything's created twice. But these people that are so clouded and so stuck in their place, right? And because it's through drink, drugs, or even just their own mind, how could you utilise your teachings to get them to even just make that start? Because some people can't even make that start. And that's something that I think would be quite important, because some people feel hopeless, and like, even, you know, there's times I've been at my lows, like, and I've kind of like, well, I'm gonna listen to some of the Robert Hisee stuff because he's really insightful. But even then, I've kind of like, well, how do I adopt that? Because right now, all I can see is doom and gloom.
Yeah, how do I get that one thought?
How can people get that one thought? Yeah, what would you?
There's a few things here. Yeah, one, if you're depressed, that's because you haven't got any goals. Yeah, so if you're looking for happiness, confidence, self-worth, motivation, you ain't going to find it in the here and now if you haven't got a goal. So people talk a bit of bollocks when they talk about mental health. They generalise shit like, the past is depression, the future's anxiety, you've got to live in the here and now. It's a load of bollocks, because your brain makes 58,000 to 68,000 thoughts a day. So if you ain't creating future thoughts, because the unconscious can't create a future thought, it can take a bad past experience and threaten the future and say that could happen again. Yeah, which is anxiety.
Yeah.
Taking bad past experiences, what you've experienced or you've learned from someone else. You've seen your mate's been stabbed on a bus. Next time you get on a bus, you might think you might get stabbed on a bus.
You're wondering who's on there.
PTSD, it's all the anxiety. It's taking bad past experience and throwing the future. That ain't a future thoughts. When they say, oh, the future's anxiety, it ain't fucking anxiety. If you're on about if you ain't creative, and a lot of therapists ain't creative, that's the problem. They're fucking anxious and depressed. They've got therapy every month as part of their job, because they only work in the here and now to the past mindset. You ain't going to get no success in that. I get people come to me who have got a woman coming the other week. Oh, I've got a lovely husband. You know, he's got his own business. They've got a big house with a swimming pool. They've got beautiful kids. Why am I so depressed?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've got nothing to be depressed for. I feel bad being depressed because I've got nothing to be unhappy for. Well, you have, because you ain't a creator. And human beings are creators. And if you ain't creating goals, you're going to be fucking depressed. Don't go fuck who you are. I don't care. It ain't about money that makes you happy. I mean, not having enough money will make you sad and fucking fuck your life, like, and ruin anything. You don't get me wrong. So that's not too true. But to be truly happy, you need to have goals. Like, happiness comes from achieving something. See, like forward. You boys, your first podcast, yeah? How you been feeling today? Like, exciting.
I've been buzzing for the last month since this was since we actually put this from pen to paper to physically happening.
So listen what you said. You're talking about what Bruce Lee says, spelling, yeah? You don't call it spelling for nothing. You write it down and you get things out your mind, yeah? You're creating a future goal. Now, your thoughts, how long ago did you say? A month ago?
Well, this has been in the background for the past year.
But for the last month, you've upped the ante, yeah?
Yeah.
So for the last for the last, you had the thoughts, put no action to it. A month ago, you put the thoughts together, felt a bit more of an emotional charge, and boom, let's do it.
Yeah.
And when you've got that vision, that's it. You start getting excited. You're talking about it, you got your tops done. You're ready to help people. You got meaning. You're going to be happy. Yeah, you're going to feel excitement. You're going to feel like that nervousness. It isn't nervousness. It's called anticipation. Yeah. Anticipation's when you don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, but as we get older, we people like to bring that into anxiety. They trigger it into their anxiety because it feels like anxiety, nervousness, worry, fear. Anticipation feels the same, but it's like your first time you kiss a bird. You know, you feel that little bit of anxiety. The first time at a new job, you know,
I'm doing it right.
Am I slobbering? Am I
yeah,
slobbering?
but you don't when you were a kid. You think, oh fucking, I want to cut a bird, or you know, your first
copper.
Wait, you just blast from the past.
Then you know, you first out a new job, your first driving lesson. So what you boys experience when you come in, you get that little bit of anticipation, what's going to happen next year. And that's a good thing. That's a good emotion because that means you're learning something. So people trigger that into anxiety and don't want to try new things as they get older. Because by the age of 35, we're a hardwired set of beliefs, habits, and subconscious programs. So 95% of your brain is run by subconscious programs at this age. So you've got loads of work to do because, like a mobile phone, you have to download new software. What do you call it? New software.
iOS.
Yeah, new software.
Upgrade your iOS
because it can't keep up with the new designs of the new apps or whatever. So we need to upgrade. But people don't do that in their mind. You need to download new software. So you need to be creating goals. You need to visualize. Yeah, you need to visualize and create goals and make new goals. So the reason why people are drinking anyway is because they're old in either trauma or they can't sit with themselves. And a lot of people drink and get on gear because their life's good. Well, when I mean good, what I mean is they've got a good job. Got a nice wife, they've got a few quid coming in, they have 4 weeks holiday a year, but that becomes mundane because when you do the same thing again and again and again, that becomes the here and now. Yeah. So, the company's just running, so they'll look for their happiness in drugs, drink, sex.
It's
gambling,
dopamine, isn't it? Like it's a quick little fix, and then.
And I was just gonna touch on what you said there as well. When I'm working recruitment, right? I have good and bad weeks, but I remember before I'd be like, I've had a shit week. I'm gonna grab
it's that excitement,
packets, right?
Isn't it? It's that little bit of excitement.
I had a great week. I'm gonna treat myself, but the outcome was still the same. I was still getting off my box on a Friday night.
Yeah, but you're not doing anything different. You're going to work next
day.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
Boring, isn't it?
And then you're chasing that.
You look
again.
at what was on Saturday. You think, I've got some money to do something now, and I'm going to go escape from this boring emotion. I've got to sit with myself again Saturday, Friday, and say that's really what's going on. You can't sit with yourself, and you've got no goals. Yeah. So you want to find some sort of good feeling for your work that you fucking probably hate doing at the time, and you're looking for that next step. So you can be really people who look happy to you can have bad habits, and you wouldn't know. So it's about fucking creation. Human beings are creators. Like what you said earlier, I talk about everything gets made twice. For the listeners at home, what I'm saying is if you look around the room you're in now, except for what comes from nature and the earth in its original form, everything you see in that room, except for like trees, plants, cats, dogs, humans, oxygen, what comes from the elements of the earth originally, in its original form don't count. But if you look at anything in the room you're in now, everything started as a vision inside of a human's brain or a thought before it was created as a thing, a chair. Like you're wearing a thought, your clothes were a thought, you sit on a thought, you live on a thought, you tell the time by a thought, you comb your hair with a thought. Like this shit from the beginning of mankind to today, everything and object you see, had to come from inside of a brain before it got created outside of a brain. So, what would the world be like now if human beings never learned to create thoughts? There'd be nothing. There'd be like trees, when we start bollock naked now, probably we could be extinct, then who knows? So we need to understand that we're creators. And if you're living in the here and now, your thoughts are going to go 58,000, 68,000 thoughts a day are going to go here and now to the past. That's depression. Or you can take bad past experience and throw them in the future. It's anxiety. If you don't create, that's what will happen to you, me, everyone. Yeah. And also, life's a fucker. Sometimes life has had me. Like even recently, things have gone wrong, out of my control. Work slows up. You can't move until things start moving. Sometimes you just got to wait. So I'll get depressed. To give you an idea. That week in between Christmas and New Year. Oh, mate. I fucking hate it. Because I've got loads of stuff to go. I've got loads of stuff to do. I'm raring to go. And I'm just sitting there like that. And I feel depressed because I can't move forward. Yeah. And the minute the bell goes ding on normally the third, put back to work, boom, I'm off. And then I'm back in it again. But sometimes life can do that for you. Sometimes, someone can pass away and it can stop you in your tracks. Or, loads of things can happen to stop you in your tracks. Business don't go well for a while, splitting up with someone, blah, blah, blah. And you end up getting stuck in your traps. Yeah. But what you got to do is you got to keep moving forward. So go out and walk. Still do things. You're still going to feel shit. But keep moving forward. And what will happen is when the tide goes out, you can cross the path again, you know, and then you can start moving.
What I've learned is only you can pull yourself out of that, though. Like, it doesn't matter how many people you've got with you trying to pull you out of that slump. Only you can do it. You've got to want to do it. Like, when you spoke about depression and unhappiness, that can be a fucking dangerous place. Like, I won't say names and stuff, but I had someone who I was helping out for a while. I was taking him to recovery meetings because he was struggling and whatever. Yeah. But he wasn't going for himself. He was only going because he wanted to show his missus that he was trying to make an effort. So he wasn't doing it for himself. Cut a long story short, last week, Brixton train station.
Jumps in front.
No, but bumped into him. Hood up. Up to no good. He had a COVID mask on. I'm homeless. He looked, eyeballs popping out his head, been on the pipe. And I thought, you have fallen in the space of months. Like, he's gone from having a family with his kid, and now he's literally outside the station asking me if I had any change, and it fucking broke my heart, mate. But what I'm trying to say is, because he didn't help himself, he wasn't there for the right reasons when I was taking him to these meetings and so on. That was the outcome of it, because he wasn't. He was going there just to show face to, like, look, babe, I'm changing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Actually want that deep
down, but he didn't. And so if you can't pull yourself out that hole, then no one else is going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for you.
But that's what I think. Just touching on what Rob's just said is, I think, like, going out for a little walk, doing bits, small things, setting small goals. Because once you achieve that, you go, okay, that's all right. Then
one goal tick, done that today. I
went for a half-hour walk today. I wouldn't have done that yesterday. I mean, would you say that's fair?
Yeah, anything, little goals, anything to go, if it's gym, if it's anything. I don't know. But you've got to have a goal, and it's hard when you're in the trenches to see any light. That's the problem. But the thing is, we have to create some sort of vision or destination for ourselves to move forward to. Like what you guys done a podcast, someone wants to buy a new car, someone wants to get married. Like, if you look at people in their mind states, they're always happy. They don't mind going to work in the rain because they know they've got a goal at the end of the tunnel. You know, I've got 2 weeks from holiday to Mexico. I don't care about fucking well. They've got 2 weeks left, and they can still be happy in the trenches. It's when they ain't got no holiday to go to and they ain't got nothing to move.
Holiday blues is why you come back, book another holiday, so that you've got something else to look forward to.
Yeah, but it's sad that people don't understand that. People live by the holiday. Yeah. Anything that keeps most people fucking going.
That's quite sad when you think about it. Sad, that little 2 weeks you get in a year.
Well, you're brainwashed through school. The schooling system, fuck you.
It's all they teach you to work, to get a job.
They're training you just to pay taxes. Yeah. Let's not beat about it.
There's no creativity.
What I think, personally, what I've been saying this for years, right? Whatever the kid's good at, be it art, be it fucking sports, be it maths, just zone in on that one subject that he excels at and fucking push that towards him. Yeah. And then he's going to be happy doing what he's doing. He's not going to be in a factory packing boxes or what.
They're going to excel. If they do something they love, or if a subject at school they're really interested in, they're going to excel at, because of that is deep seated in them to want to learn that, because it's something they're interested in.
And then it doesn't feel like you're working. If you're interested, if you're enjoying what you're doing, is it even work? Do you know what I mean? Because you're enjoying it.
My man said that. He said, enjoy what you do, boy, and you never work a day in your life.
That's it. That's spot on.
My old man's always said that. You know. But I think another thing that affects people's mental health nowadays is social media, because everybody's got a point to prove. Everybody's living that fucking good life, and the comparison is the thief of all joy, right? And a lot of people out there comparing, and I'm part of it as well. Like, I'll see somebody and I'm like, fucking hell, you're doing really, really well, but like, and then I'm having a bad day and I'm like, oh, my, things ain't going so well for me. Why is it like? But you just take yourself out of that. But I think I'm lucky enough to understand that when my thoughts are going like that I know that is just me comparing, that everybody's moving at their own pace. I mean, I think that's a big thing that affects people's mental health in today's world, is social media.
But I do agree with you. But also, social media is good. Everyone stags off social media. It is quite a lot. But also, it allows you to jump on and do things like this, like the podcast that help people. It allows me to reach out to people and spread a message that you ain't got to be alone, that you can, like, techniques you can put out to people to help. So it has got its bad and it's got its good. So what human beings do the worst is generalise. Yeah. So we're talking about drugs are bad. Well, drugs are making people live forever. Look at HIV now, people can live. So drugs ain't we generalise there are drugs about. Now, what type of drugs? Recreational drugs overused. Some of them recreational drugs used in the right environment are fucking good for the brain. We talked about earlier, microdosing, LSD. In that small dose, we're seeing the best results we've ever seen. The activity come alive, the creativity, the anxieties disappear in one microdose for a month. I mean, they're studying it all over the world at the minute, and they will be bringing psilocybin in somewhere, 100%, yeah. But they'll mix it with their pharmaceutical shit and make out their one's legal, and you can't legally grow that mushroom. You're going to get arrested.
That's what
fucking sense, yeah. But it costs you nothing to grow the mushroom. We're going to charge you.
We're the problem. It ain't the drugs that are the problem. Like as you said, like in small doses,
the whole world's an illusion.
It's beneficial for your health, but then. Because we fucking overuse, because we're gannets and we just want to escape reality because we're not facing what's going on in here.
Everything's an illusion. Yeah. All this shit with the pharmaceutical companies, money. Like, money's not real. It's the biggest, it's an illusion. It's not real. Money don't exist. You think there's like 500 trillion pound in notes in a fucking bank? No. They burn it, they put it in a computer system. It's not real. But it's very clever what we've done, which the other side of money is it's kept us civilised. It's give us a game to play so we can live and we don't have to kill. We don't have to, so if we don't have money, we wouldn't have laws. We wouldn't have, it's a clever thing that we've done as a human race, really, to create a lot more peace and longevity for us but it ain't real. So people get it out your head.
Yeah, so
we're in so much debt. Don't be a fucking idiot. What are you on about? What are you? There's no debt. It's not real. They'll pull you down when they need to bring us down, so we can kill us off, and they can put us up when they need to put. It's all bullshit. Mate. So I don't get involved in politics. What are you going to do? Do you think they're really the powers? Do you think that dickhead Tony Blair back in the day was behind the scenes telling you what to do? Of course, there's powers above them.
We've got no power.
Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family.
If us voting mattered, then they wouldn't let us do it. That's the way that I've always said that. If voting actually mattered, then they wouldn't let us do it.
The general public, like us, we're mushrooms, mate. We're kept in the dark.
Yeah, of course.
Shit,
right? Of course.
But you made a very good point there that money isn't real. And actually, that's the root of a lot of people's...
Well, it's crypto, isn't it? It's the same as cash. People think it's not real money. Well, what you using a bit of paper?
Yeah, what's that then?
Yeah. What was money? Money
what are you on about?
That paper was the promise to pay. Because of currency was silver and gold.
It was an IOU card.
That's what it was. That's it. And now all of a sudden that is the thing. Gold and silver like that. That's the one thing that will never.
And I do understand it. I understand everything that's going on. I do understand, but I don't think we have to have so much poverty. If you could do it a lot fairer than what they do. But like with mental health system, right? Is that really there to make you well? I don't think it's designed to make you have a future. Like the schooling system isn't designed to make you have a future. It makes you become a good worker for someone else's dream. Yeah. But if that's your dream, that's cool. If you want to be a doctor or, you want to do something academic and it suits your mindset, brilliant. But it isn't designed to make you a creator. They take away your creativity.
Yeah,
I explained to you how nothing's about visualization. It's all about thinking what can go wrong, how not to make mistakes, how to do it on your own and not make mistakes. Yeah, so that's the whole thing, right? And if you do it, don't ask for help. It's another thing. You got to be able to do it for them. You can't ask for help. Don't ask your mate. So you got to be able to do it. Yeah. So you're always looking for mistakes. So when you do go to start a company, if I talk to you guys about starting a company, a lot of people go, "Yeah, I know, but we don't want that to happen. How are we going to get the money?" We put loads of problems to solve.
Yeah.
No one thinks about the end goal of driving a car and living in the house and having the freedom for you. That ain't the predominant fault. The predominant fault is all the problems. So they're never going to be successful. Your pro-dominant fault should always be the outcome. That'll drive you through any bit of pain. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? You'll go through the trenches and smile. But if you haven't got an end goal, you're never going to go for trench because your brain runs away from pain fast and it goes towards pleasure. If you start going in the trenches for something, you're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered. It's too much hard work, yeah? Because you're feeling the pain.
You're not looking at that goal.
If you've got the goal, you're like, fuck that. I've only got to overcome this. It might take me another 2 months, but once I get there, and that's what makes someone successful.
If you're looking at the end goal, you might not even see them. They're just passing you by as you're focusing on that.
They're just part of the journey. So like I get it all the time. There's so many things we get. Like even like everything I do, you think you're going to get there, and then boom, something comes up, and you think, well, that's how you learn.
Yeah,
like, they hurt you, but you think, I get it now. I would have never got that information if it wasn't for doing it that way. I could have chose that in the first place, but I never, because I just took a punt, and then you start to learn, didn't you? And asking for help, You don't ask for help, do it yourself, yeah? What the fuck's that? Anyone successful asks for help. They've got good teams of people. So I'm dyslexic and can't read and write. Well, I ain't going to start fucking reading and writing, am I ain't going to give that to someone in my team that deals with that, yeah. So what I'll do is for a press release of saying, I'll write it out. Yeah, I speak into the thing, like the grammar's terrible. I send it to my cousin who's very detail-minded. And then what she'll do is she'll go over it for me, spell the grammar and put it into grammar and then put it into a better, readable thing for me. Like, so what? I'm writing a TV comedy series at the moment, and I sit down with a guy, my pal, and Tanner, and we talk about the stories. He goes and puts it pen to paper. I've still written it with him.
Yeah, so you're
manifesting me and him are creating it all, but he can put it down on paper better.
That's it. You're utilising
So
your
what?
strengths
I was a bit embarrassed about that. I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Richard Branson said this, and this is a good thing to remember to anyone listening. You don't have to be able to fly a plane to run an airline. Isn't it?
Write that one down, Russ.
Yeah, that's fucking true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Spot on.
I've got a few things coming on at the
Pay
minute.
someone to fly that plane for you.
Yeah, you're too busy running the company, making all the fucking money. Like, and people go, the pilots on good money. A lot of them only get 50 grand a year. I mean, that might be good money to some people. I don't think that's great money.
All them Virgin pilots, mate, they're all working for Richard Branson's dream.
Yeah.
It's fucking spot on.
Well,
But if you want to be a pilot, again, that's fine. But
Yeah.
you are, like, it depends what you want from your life. And there's no wrong or right, so I ain't running anyone down. But I want to say, you still have a dream. Even as a pilot, you want to be doing something outside of flying a plane that might, it could be proper, it could be a house, could be, I don't know, living abroad. You need something to keep working towards, otherwise you'd be depressed.
It goes back to you saying limiting beliefs, because that's where somebody's end goal has been, I want to be a pilot. And then they get there, and you could be, you get there, but then what are you now looking forward to? And then you go, fucking hell, I'm a pilot. Depressed. I work for British Airways. I've got where I want to be, but now I'm depressed.
Yeah, I've got a podcast with me and Jamie Ara. He plays for Tottenham.
Yeah,
Premiership player. And when I've done it, I've worked a lot with Jamie, like on the mind, since football. And he said on my podcast that he'd been visualising since he was little. He said, I never knew what I was doing though, but it was something I always done. Every single day I see myself playing at Tottenham Stadium and I see myself in the Prem. And he said, I've done it all the time. He said, but when I got to Tottenham, he said, something happened to me. He said, like, I loved it. I was buzzing, but I lost my sort of love for it in a way. He said that I wasn't training to make the team. I'm now training to play Saturday.
Yeah. So
he said,
chase.
He didn't have a vision to chase.
Yeah.
And he said, then I started getting injured, making mistakes. And he went from Jamie Ara, who had everything, to who everyone wanted, should I say, to Jamie Ara no one wanted.
Yeah.
Literally overnight. And he said, I should have been visualising. Once he worked with me at my retreat.
Now?
He said, I should have been visualising scoring 30 goals for Tottenham. I should have been visualising playing for the England first team.
Yeah.
He said, but I just stopped and lived in the moment. And that's what happens. And he's got a big thing about trying to help footballers with a mindset, because even after football, a lot of them hit gambling and booze because they don't have a vision of where they're going to go next. And it's very scary for them because they've been a footballer since they were a child. So when they leave school, they've got to be grown up and what they're going to do. They don't know who they are. They don't know, it can be very difficult and challenging for footballers or any sportsman. But we need to have this vision of the next goal. And it's on my kid's life, yeah. It's on my podcast. You can, and I've got it on somewhere on my Insta. Jamie sat with me out and was in my bar, and he sat in my retreat outside. And I said, what do you want to do next? And I said, you're a natural visualising and getting into the frequency. I said, he went, mate, you know what? I've been on that film with Alan Brazil. I'd love to have my own show on TalkSport. I went, here you go. That's one. He said, another thing I like to do is be a pundit for Sky. Like, I've done it once. I really enjoyed it. I could see myself doing that. Yeah. There you go. And he started visualising. And this is on my kid's life, right? I was only back 2 weeks from the retreat, and he went on TalkSport, and he was with Alan Brazil and someone else, a couple of guys, and they were talking, and he started talking about, he mentioned me, and he started mentioning, people started ringing me, going, get online, go on here. And he basically, I didn't realise how much he took in from the reticular activating system and visualisation, and he started having this big conversation on it and where he wanted to be. And he's now got his show on TalkSport on a Friday, and he now does punting for Sky through lockdown. But he had that within about 3 months after
I've just visualising
my retreat, yeah, and then it took about another year and a half through lockdown. He got punting for Tottenham on Sky. It's unbelievable. So now he's flying and
he's doing exactly
really
what
well.
He visioned.
Yeah,
But I think with that as well, he understands how that works, because of, without knowing it, he had this vision to get to where he was going to be from a young age. And then when he got there and after...
Yeah, so what you're saying is he's practiced internal visual.
Without even knowing he's done it. And then he's aware he's got to do it. Yeah.
If I talk to people about visual, I go, what, like a money, like an holiday?
No,
or like dreaming?
Not like
mate,
that,
you've got to
is
sit
it?
down, close your eyes and consciously
exactly
make the awareness. But I find for me a lot of... I'll show you one at the minute I've been using, yeah? This is no joke. Literally after 3 days, boom, money started coming into me. I need to start... I've got a few things going on, so I wanted to start attracting more money. I say this every day.
I need to do that. So
30 times a day, 30 days I do it for. I'm happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuing basis. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuing basis. I'm happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuing basis.
Like an affirmation.
An affirmation, yeah. I do that every day, 30 days, and literally 30 days. So frequency ain't got to be visualization. I mean, putting vision to the words when you do it will help at a heightened sense, yeah. But you got to keep feeding the brain the vision and the words. So visualize, affirmate. If you can do it at the same time, even better. Yeah. So as you're saying that, start seeing the things that you want from that, like your businesses or your kids, or your, whatever it is, and keep affirmating it. Keep 30 times a day, because if everything's frequency and you want to shift your frequency, you got to keep telling your brain what the outcome is you want. Yeah, you can't say it once and think it's going to go. You say it 100. If you said it 100 times a day,
say it with your chest.
You start to believe it.
You got to say it with confidence, isn't
but
you?
it's like they say about. Go on, Rob. Go on.
No, I'll just say it for now.
Yeah,
you ain't going to say it. You ain't going to believe it at first. It comes but the more you do it.
It goes into that thing of like they say compulsive liars. They believe their own lies because they lie so much. They believe
they
it.
do.
It's the same thing. It's the affirmation. You say it that much, you'll believe it, and if you believe it, it will be. I expect that's where
there is some truth. There's a lot of that. That's just bang on the money.
But after the pod, Rob, can you send me that, mate? Because
of course I will.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think everyone's going to be doing that at home now, Rob.
Grateful the money comes from increasing
goes
from multiple impulse, multiple. What was the word? Multiple sources on a continuing basis. Yeah.
Well, if you say something enough, you do believe it.
Yeah.
Like even down to when I was younger,
I tell myself I'm handsome every day.
Oh well, like even down to when I was younger, and like you used to be up to no good, and you get yourself nicked and that, and then you'd say something.
I'm a little shithouse or something.
No, but you'd say something.
You'd end up believing it. You'd act as if you really meant it.
Not even that. Or even when you went back for the interview, and you had to I don't know, allegedly lie or something like that, and then you'd say it over and over again in your head, and in the end you'd think, hang on, I'm actually innocent.
Yeah.
Why
it's a
on
liberty.
me for, mate?
Why
am I even here?
And then your mate's got to go, you're talking to your mate about it, your mate's like, mate, I was there, what are you talking about? It didn't act like that. You're like...
But it's saying something over and over again. So I can fucking fully relate to that, man.
So, writing little affirmations. I said I love that little quote Bruce Lee said. That's why they call it spelling. It's good. You're creating a spell of what you want, and this is true. You just write your affirmations, affirmate it every day, and practice visualization with it. Get your brain used to seeing images, because when people say thinking, they generally mean self-talk. They very rarely mean they think in vision. Why is that? Because the schooling system take it. Yeah. It's not a good thing, because there's no emotion to dialogue really. With a vision, there's a dialogue. There's emotion. So emotional intelligence that you guys are all about here is about changing the way you feel, because a human being can only think the way they feel. There's never been a human being in 2 million years while experiencing emotion of sadness can make a happy thought. If you feel sad, you make sad thoughts. If you fucking crave what you want. It's the emotion that fucks you, ain't your faults. Drug dealers like your mate on the pipe outside the station, I guarantee he knows it's ruining his life and he don't want to do it.
You know.
He's fucked. He's programmed the emotion. So your unconscious mind's your body. When you program your body stronger than your mind, the master becomes the servant. And we go to, I don't want to feel like this no more. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't know. It's trained by releasing the stressful feeling for the drug that makes it feel good. So now the body thinks it's releasing all the stress and making you feel good, but your mind's going, look at me, my teeth are falling out. I'm like,
knows full well what's going wrong.
There's no consciousness to the unconscious. So we have to train it. It's got to be our bitch. So you have to take time out every day and go sit down. You can do as I fucking tell you for 5 minutes. I don't keep running around on subconscious programs, making the same choices, doing the same thing, talking to the same people and creating the same vibes. I'm going to sit myself down and meditate and close my eyes and practice, the visions or the affirmations in your mind while you're doing just for like a little few minutes a day. Don't take long.
Touching down on the meditation thing, I know the benefits from meditation, because when I put it down, that's when I'm in trouble. And I admit I haven't been doing it as much as I normally do. for people that are at home that think it's just sitting in a room cross-legged, in and ahhing, what techniques have you learned over the past when it comes to meditation that people at home could listen to?
The easiest one is to do. The people who try too hard, they listen to guided meditation. Guided meditation is good. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a guided meditation. Sometimes you have lovely journeys. But you're still relying on something outside of you to be greater than what's inside of you. And no one knows what you want or what you feel more than anyone else. So what I would do is make sure you know your visions and your goals, and you can affirmate through the visions, even if it's just, I'm happy and successful. I'm happy and successful, I'm happy and in love. I'm happy in love if love's what you're looking for. And just keep chanting that while you visualize yourself getting married or meeting a girl or whatever it is that you're looking for, put the words to it. But what I would do is to take down the reason for meditation, hypnosis, and all this wonderful stuff that helps us, what we see unconsciously, is that we're slowing the brain waves down. We want to go from beta to alpha to theta state. Now, theta state is when the brain waves go from between 4 and 8 hertz, yeah? Now, in this place, this is when we're children up to age of 7. We're programmable. We can... Why do you think a kid can learn to speak a language? It can just speak a language.
It's like a sponge.
Because it's like a sponge, because his brainwaves are slowed down.
Right.
Now, there's a guy called Jose Silva, yeah? A Mexican guy teaching this stuff to his kids, getting people that couldn't do well at school just to slow their brainwaves down and learn. And they're passing everything, with flying colours. So slowing your brainwaves down into that state is a really important part of fast change, because the analytical mind that fucks us up. So, I want to start a business. Yeah, but how are you going to do that? How much money is it going to take? You analyse, analytical mind. Yeah, that's what it is. Now you've got the angel and the devil. Well, the devil, we call it, ain't the devil, but it's the analytical mind. So you've got to get beyond the analytical mind to make fast change and creative change and strong change. And how to do that is this is my biggest tip. It's so easy. It's unbelievable. Because people struggle with meditation. I can't do it. My mind keeps going. Well, you've got to practice, first of all, not the art of meditation in the sense of, meditation means to know thyself, really. That's what it translates to. So to know oneself. So what you've got to do is know yourself. So you've got to learn to close your eyes, yeah? Listen to soft music. I listen to 432 hertz or 528 hertz. Yeah, put them on. Close your eyes, listen to the music, and it'll relax you. We see soft music relaxes the brainwaves anyway. But what you've got to do is, it's as simple as this. Focus on the music, hyper-focus on your hearing. And then what will happen is a voice will pop up, the unconscious will come up and go, oh yeah, what are you doing for dinner later? Blah, blah, blah. As soon as you notice a self-talk, you know it ain't you, because you're consciously being told now to focus just on the fucking music. So when your voices come up, remove them, then slowly go back to the music and stay focused. 10, 20 seconds, it normally comes up again. Bum, 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 bum. Remove the voices, go back to the music. You already feel yourself relaxing. You're putting your body to sleep, yeah? You're saying to it, sit and obey me, yeah? You do it again. After 3 or 4 times, generally, it goes and you feel yourself breathing from your diaphragm and you're in this nice relaxed state. You feel yourself going down into alpha sort of thing, and just keep doing it and just start visualizing and affirmating. And then if your voice comes up again that ain't yours, remove it, go back to the music, recenter yourself.
Yeah.
Now, some people can find, not often, but a lot, there is like some people that really struggle with removing the voices because they come into meditation when they're stressed. They don't do it when they're normal. Oh, my life's gone wrong, I need to meditate. So now their brain's fucking up. So it can take them 10, 15 minutes to remove the voice, go back to the music, to get back little visualization. It comes back again, remove it, go back to the music. And, it's work. Yeah, it looks peaceful externally, but the liveliness of the subconscious mind is of the analytical mind is 100 miles an hour. You go, shut up, fuck off, back to the music.
To keep pushing that voice down.
Yeah. You just remove it, go back to the music. Focus on the music. You focus on the music, and you will go. And then once you do that, it becomes easy. Like now, even the music becomes a trigger to me. So because I use the same song every time, my brain goes, "Oh, it's time to remove the voice." So it knows what to do quicker than I need to do it.
Taught yourself how to do it.
Is that like that go on to you saying you've created almost a neural pathway to do that when you're listening to that music?
Yeah, you do it so many times, your brain knows what's going to come, so it just goes runs the program, and I'm straight involved.
And that's really like. I find that massively interesting because of, like you were saying, you're telling your brain, nah, you're going to listen to me. It's
the body, no, not the brain.
Telling your
people
body. People
get confused with the unconscious and the conscious. They talk about, a lot of people on the podcast talk about the mind. The mind ain't your fucking mind you're talking about. You're talking about your unconscious mind.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Sit down. Stop bringing up trauma.
And it's like if you feel anxious, you feel it in your chest. You don't feel it up here. You feel it in your chest. It's like I was saying to you. I found out my little boy's only 13 months. So he's got to have an operation. He's got to go under. The second I had that phone call. I
heart
felt it
goes.
in my chest,
Anxiety,
mate. all day, and then since still, like, until that's gonna happen, because that's the anxiety there over that. Because I'm like, he's only little, you know what I mean?
See, anxiety and it's a normal thing. It ain't mental health. Like people get confused with mental health anxiety and what meant. Like you're gonna be fearful. It's someone you love is gonna pass. It's human nature.
Yeah.
I mean, anxiety in a dangered environment is really good for us. We wouldn't have evolved without anxiety. So you know, if it were them like my mate Roy Lana, he stopped them 3 Muslim guys stabbing
at
someone.
London Bridge.
Yeah. Well, imagine walking over London Bridge, right? And say me and you, we're walking over London Bridge, and we see these 3 bods stabbing someone up. Yeah. If I didn't feel anxiety and think, fuck, they can stab me next and run, I'm going to walk over and go, come on, boys, listen.
Yeah, exactly.
You think you're doing a good thing now? You ain't going to feel any fear, then you're going to get plunged. Like it's in its right environment. You want to feel fear. Let's go. Let's go.
Fight or flight, isn't it?
We're missing
Fight or
one
flight,
thing here, though. The guy that came to the rescue, he was actually a Millwall fan.
Top
Yeah,
player.
same as me.
Yeah, Millwall, mate.
You Millwall,
Yeah,
standard.
So
Yeah, he's
that's
a legend. He's a
Right.
legend. We
We've
should
got-
get him on here as it goes. He's
Yeah,
a good
that
guy.
ain't a bad,
put you on to
bad
me,
shout.
Yeah, if you could, mate, I'd 100%
That'd
love
be-
to speak.
yeah.
I'd just like to give the man a fucking handshake,
Yeah.
mate, and just tell him how much I admire him.
Right, we've got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could rattle
Talk
this on.
forever, yeah.
Yeah,
I've really
I
enjoyed
feel like I
this.
should have booked 2 hours in this,
Yeah,
mate.
do you know what I mean?
But,
Tight
um,
cunts.
But yeah, no. Do you know what? Right? Do you know what? As first time goes, I've been really pleased to have Rob on, and actually, we'd love to have you back on further down when we're a little
Definitely,
bit
mate.
more,
Yeah, I'd love
a
to.
little bit more established.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Rob,
second-
before we go, for the people that are at home that are suffering with their own addictions, be it coffee, be it vapes, be it fucking whiskey, be it crack, be it anything, what kind of advice could you give somebody now listening to this podcast who's in a bit of a 2 and 8?
The first thing's ask for help. Take action, ask for help. Learn to meditate, like I just said, massively. Learn to, because your emotions are going to they're going to need regulating. You know, even practice breathing. I'm not on about just sitting there. Control breathing. It sounds boring, mate. You do it for 3 minutes a day. You're starting to link your brain to your body again. You're starting to say, I'm here with you. And you're starting to make that connection. You want to connect the brain to the body again, to the unconscious. You know, when you're in that traumatic state, just breathing can really help you on a daily basis and sit with your emotions. But ask for help. If you have to go AA, go AA. You know, whatever route you want to take, there's no, whatever's right for you, you know, but make sure you create a vision of where you want to be. So I don't personally like the thing is, like I do at the beginning, you've got to admit you're an alcoholic. I don't think you should spend 20 years saying I'm an alcoholic. I think you should stay, I'm clean.
I love this.
Clean.
I've heard you say this
because
before.
the reticular activating system will start showing you evidence that you're clean.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't drink for 20 years and say I'm an alcoholic, you'll have 1 half a lager, you'll be fucking under the bottles
you're
of vodka in 2
identifying as
days.
an addict.
Yeah, your brain, your neuro associations, your wiring, your subconscious programs knows how to act with that. You keep changing that. I'm clean, I'm clean, I'm clean, I'm clean. Say that 100 times a day. If you believe it or not, it doesn't fucking matter. You know, just keep saying 100 times a day. I'm clean, I'm clean, I'm clean. And when you say I'm an alcoholic, like for me, it makes me feel dirty and like I'm a bit
On a
of a
bench.
scumbag. But it
Yeah.
does. The word
Yeah.
don't sound too nice. When I say I'm clean, no, listen to what the body says, not what your mind says. I'm an alcoholic.
Makes you sound like a
I feel clean. Just listen. Just notice what your body tells you. It's like listening to your emotions. You don't listen to emotions. Your body. If you feel good, if you feel happier and more fresh and bright, saying I'm clean, it makes more sense to identify yourself as that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm clean. It's better than saying I'm an alcoholic. That's my personal opinion. And through what I know about the reticular activating system, what you guys at home should jump on YouTube and get on that right now. Listen to some bits on the RAS system. What it is, it's easy to understand. Definitely you'll start noticing by affirmating and visualizing, you're setting your RAS system to rewire the old circuitry and create new circuitry. So definitely.
Absolutely. It's fascinating, man.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
so, like, as I said, listen, Rob, you're an absolute legend, man.
Thank you, my
you.
brother.
This means the
You
world
are.
to us. You
No,
coming
that's
down
me
and
too,
doing
man.
this.
What you guys are doing good. And as I said to you before, the things that cause us the most pain in our life becomes a gift to help others. Not a lot of people get a chance to recognise that, and you boys are doing it. So take my hat off to you, boys, and good luck on the
Thank
journey
you,
that
man.
any way I can help. I'm here, you know.
Top man, mate.
Robert Hisee, thank you
Cheers,
for
my
having you
brother.
down.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very
It's been a
much.
pleasure.